deal.
Yes. Right. So yeah, yeah, because if you're saying, and probably one pointer that has would, yeah, that would, yeah, because if we're looking at, um, let's say 5 million, okay, um, okay,
Now, Tom, also go over
not very
the
long.
leasing of funds too, and the amounts that you can do there, and the time frame on how those work. Tom,
Yep.
did you hear me?
So one more time.
I said, I said, could you go over like a client leasing funds
Well,
and
it
what the
depends on how they need to. They need to. Well, this is leasing funds. Placing money in escrow is the same thing as leasing the money. It's the same thing. Are you talking about the commodity side where we do
yeah
the placement for oil deals?
yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, we have a relationship with investment group that is in the petroleum business.
Hmm.
They currently have a large amount of deposits in Santander Bank in Chile. That's where their headquarters is. And but they also lease funds. So they set up accounts for clients that are mainly in commodities. So it's usually 50 million and up, but they'll go as low as 5 million and up as far as a sub account. And it'll be an account set up at the bank for that purpose with all the supporting documentation. So those are for people that actually need, like, a lot of people who utilize their service are folks who do what they call contract flipping, where you buy a petroleum contract, you have to show proof of capability, and then you resell the contract to somebody else.
We do the same
So
thing in
that's
commercial real estate. We do the same
exactly
thing.
same kind of deal. So that's for those guys. Those are the people that usually use that more so. But not everybody can use Santander. So a lot of those clients are not even from the U.S. So usually foreign people.
Well,
Who,
I
who
I
who are
have
who are dealing in commodities.
right. I have some hotels that are going up in Taiwan and a couple other places. I think
Oh,
and
that'd be a
and
good fit. And anything foreign, it works really well. American banks, we find are very fickle, even if you're doing a U.S. based
they hate
project,
you.
and you come in
Americans
with a foreign.
they don't
Go
like to
ahead.
see you come with too much currency because they want to control every damn thing.
It's crazy. And
That's
then you don't
America.
realize that until you're in this industry. You're like, the U.S., as far as how U.S. does things from a financial perspective, is so backwards compared to the rest of the world. But nobody here knows that.
Well, it's not only backwards, but it's mean spirit. It's still from the same regime of slavery that they want to control who has money, when they have money, and how they have money, and that's America.
Absolutely.
And then the
Absolutely.
real deal is as you travel internationally, you find out America don't have no money. Not as compared, because you got other places that China been getting down since the fifth century of printing capital. Now,
Hmm.
before the fifth century, they traded in gold and other aspects. But since the fifth century, they've been trading in actual dollar or yen or whatever. America's only 250 years old.
Yeah.
we ain't got no
That's why.
money
That's
after
why they can't. That's
that.
why the Chinese they mastered the game a long time ago.
Right. And so I stayed in a hotel in Africa that was built in the 12th century, man. America, where was
Wow.
America in the 12th century? There was no America. So
They didn't
once you
exist.
start to travel, you get to understand America is a big bowl of hype. But it was the coldest marketing ploy ever with free labor for 400 years. That's what it was. 468 years of free labor with a marketing ploy that was nothing nice. And so that's what America is. But as a country, it's only 250 years old. The first 200 years of slavery, America was not incorporated as a legitimate country, and most people don't even know
Correct.
that. So
Correct.
it's because
Yeah.
now there's an investigation on the United States Senate and Congress, but ain't nobody gonna do anything because it takes Congress's approval. Well, you're not gonna tell on yourself.
Hmm.
but it
Yeah,
talks about
it's all complex.
talk-
And to your point, I mean, the U.S. is the only country that, at least for the last I checked, in the world that requires worldwide taxation, no matter where you live, if you're a U.S. citizen.
right. But then they turn
You got to
around.
pay Uncle Sam. If you move out of the country for good, you still got to pay us.
Right, but then unless you give up your citizenship, you become an expat. But then they
Right.
turn around and don't even back their money because they're the only other industrialized nation that doesn't have their money backed by anything but a note. Nobody else. Everybody else is backed by something. We're only
Oh,
backed
yeah.
by it.
It's a blank check, so you can print more money whenever you need it.
Right. And so didn't we get notes from mom when we got sick at school? Wasn't that a note that the teacher asked for? So you mean to tell me my mom's note from when I was a kid going to Catholic school is the same as my US dollar? It's a note.
Pretty much.
And I don't trust the white man to sign that note. I trust my mama more than, and peace and blessed rest upon her soul. She's dead, but I trust her note more than I trust the white man to sign that note. So you mean to tell me this note, this is all this money is backed on this note of a white man, and unless he has a war every 3 to 5 years, his money ain't good. That's the only way he can sustain his value is through a war because he doesn't have any subscribing those
Now,
network.
Mr. Mack, question though. Your client, when you told them that, hey, I may be able to get funds placed for you in escrow, I'm sure they had in their mind an idea of what that may cost. So
No,
what
she
was
did
that range, I guess?
No, she did not, sir. She asked.
Okay, got it.
She said, I heard about it and I seen it on the internet or YouTube or something. And I was like, okay, I can't speak to YouTube, but I do have the capabilities of possibly doing that for you. Like I said here, I've had this capability personally for about 8 years, but mine is restricted to Colorado only. So when Richard told me, hey man, I think there's an opportunity for you to look at something national, I was like, are you serious? Because I
Yeah,
turned
your
down
ears perked
about,
up.
yeah, I turned down about, I'd say 15, 20 deals because of that. Because I was like, look, man, if y'all want to fly to Colorado and do it at this law firm or this title company, I got you. But if you want to do it in Vegas and all these other places, I can't touch it, bro. My people won't do it. So that's what the relationship was, and that's what I held true to, and I never bucked the system. So once I heard that, I was like, Richie, is it real? Is it live or is it Memorex? He said, well, let's find out. And then when he told me, he said, you were on the phone with him. I said, well, who was I? I was only on the phone with Howard and Harris. And he's like, yeah, Howard. I'm like, well, why didn't you say something? He said, that wasn't the subject of the conversation. All right, cool, I get you. So now it's the subject of the conversation.
Fair
Super
enough.
simple. So I will, Brother Howard, I know you have my information directly as well because we're doing some other business together. So you do have my information, correct?
I don't, but I've been kind of just playing my position until we get to the point where that is needed. But as long as did you transfer information to Pastor Harris? That's really all I was concerned about.
Richard, did you send Pastor Harris my gear? Because I did not.
Yeah, you have it because you have his executive summary, and you have
But I'm
Dante's.
saying,
Yeah, but to answer that question or both of your questions, I will exchange that information after the end of this call.
thank you.
Mhm.
And just send him my business card. That gives everything.
Gotcha.
One, the MFS.
Yep.
So, yeah, so that way we locked and loaded with one another because I mean we're building a dynamic pipeline and team, and I'll tell you, gentlemen, this is new territory for me. We did $1 billion pipeline before June of this year. This is new territory for me. I don't take that lightly. I look at it as a blessing truly from God, and I don't take it lightly because this is not, I'm not going to sit here in front like I've been working with $1 billion and all this stuff. I've been in business 30 years. I ain't never smelt $1 billion, nothing. And so this the first year, like we're touching those numbers. Wow.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
It's
Okay.
it's shocking. It's and to be real about it, brother, I'm thankful and I'm on my knees about it. You know what I mean? Because I want to remain humble about it. Because just like it was given, it can be taken away, right? So
Yep.
uh, I'm very thankful, but I understand because I've not done $1 billion in business in 1 year and let alone 6 months. I Yeah, I don't know that. I
Understood.
got
No, that's definitely a responsibility, and so just a matter of, as long as you continue to look at it as a responsibility, you'll always have your head on straight.
Yes, sir. Correct. And I agree with what you said. That's an accurate statement. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, I thank you for your time. I thank Brother Howard for bringing you on and trusting us enough to do so, and Richard, you for making the introduction, because
Absolutely.
it doesn't happen as we see one good brother to another good brother to another good brother, and that's how this is working, and that's something an old racist white man told me when I was a young man. He said, "Hey man, I don't care if it's black or white," and he was racist as shit. Okay, make no, he made it